All right. Hey, everybody. I'm going to try it again. This is Mike Wendland, and I think you're hearing me now. I'm hoping you're hearing me now. Somebody will hopefully. Yeah, I see the microphone working. So I'm on the air. You can hear me. This is great. We tried this a minute ago. It didn't work. All right. I'm Mike Wendland, and this is the RV Lifestyle Channel. Road Trekking is the name of my blog. The RV Lifestyle Channel is Jennifer and my YouTube channel. And the RV Podcast is our podcast. And this is the first I have tried on YouTube to go live. So I'm hoping this will work. I don't think there's a way I can see your live questions or comments. If there is, type them in, and I'd love to see them. But I don't think there is when you go on Hangouts on the air like this. But if you can, and I see them, I'll try and reference any of your questions. We're going to talk today about getting your RV ready for winter. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've had like a gazillion emails in just the last couple of days with lots of questions about winterizing an RV and using an RV in cold climates. I'm a big proponent. Jennifer and I love to camp in our RV all winter long. We got a big camp out in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan coming up that usually has 2.5 feet of snow on the ground. We think you can use an RV all year round, but you do have to get them ready. So I want to talk about it as best we can. Some of what I talk about has to be generic in nature because every RV is different. I mean, some of you have Class A's, some of you have pop-ups, some of you have Class B's or C's. They're all different. They all have some different protocols that you need to follow, but a couple of similar things. If you have water in your RV, you need to get that water out if you live in a climate where the temperature is cold. And instead, you need to place in the plumbing system of that RV antifreeze. That's the pink stuff, we call it, because that's what color it is. And this is food grade quality antifreeze. You don't want to put the same kind of stuff you put in an automobile. That is not food grade. In fact, it kills pets if it leaks out on the ground and pets lick it. RV and marine antifreeze is the kind you want to get. Let me start off with a couple of questions that people have asked. The first one they want to always know is how cold does it have to get before I have to winterize? Well, the trick is to winterize before it gets that cold. But here's what I tell everybody. If the temperature is going to drop below or at or below 28 degrees Fahrenheit and stay there for a prolonged period of time, meaning not just a few hours overnight, but for 6, 8, 10 or more hours, then you need to be winterized before that happens to avoid freezing your lines, your plumbing lines in your RV. So that's the general guide. A good way to tell is if there's a water puddle outside and it freezes solid, that tells you that you should have been winterized. So hopefully that helps you. If you are, say you're in the southern climate and you just happen to be north enough that it's going to get cold at night and you're camping out and the temperature is going to drop into the low 30s or even a little less, you're going to be in the RV all night. You've got the heater running. You're using the water. You're going to be okay for a few hours. And if it's going to get warmer as soon as the sun comes up in the morning and it's going to get in the 40s or 50s, you're fine. But if it's going to be prolonged below 30 degrees, below 28 degrees, many hours, then you need to be winterized. So how do you winterize? Well, I can't answer that. Well, I can give you some general stuff, but it depends on what kind of an RV you have. If you're not sure the procedures to follow, dig out the manual, that big thick book that came when you bought your RV. If you don't have one, go to the dealer you bought the RV from, or if you bought it from a third party, call the manufacturer, look on their website. Most of them will make them available, winterizing guides on their website, or if you call them and talk to support, they'll send you one, usually a little PDF file by computer, and you can follow those instructions. Let's start with a couple of things. The first thing you have to do is drain the plumbing system on your RV. And there are 3 main places that have to be drained. The first is the gray water tank. You want to make sure that you empty that, you dispose of that in an RV dump area. The second, of course, is the black water, the yicky stuff that, you know, I'm not going to go into any details. If you don't know what the black water tank is, then you got more problems than winterizing. So you empty those, dump the gray water and the black water. And by the way, always dump the black water first, and then the gray water kind of cleans it out. You know that. So dump the black and the gray water at an RV dump site. Empty those to those storage tanks. Now that leaves you a third tank, and that is your fresh water tank. What you want to do is turn the valve wherever it's located and drain all of that water out. I do that. I just did that a week ago Monday on my driveway, and it takes some time to drain all that water out. So get all that water out of the freshwater system. Then go into your RV after that's empty and turn on all of the faucets. I do this one at a time, and then I kind of go back and forth. I go into the kitchen and I turn on the hot water faucet, the warm water faucet. I do the same in the bathroom on the unit, and I do the same in pushing down the little step that runs water to flush the toilet. Empty just turn on those faucets and let all that water come out. You'll be amazed, even after you've emptied the fresh water, how much water is in that plumbing system. By the way, your water pump should be on, so it kind of will push out whatever is in there out, and it will push it all out the faucets. Then after it starts to sputter and to spit, and you can hear air coming, and the water kind of comes in little bits and pieces. After that, you know you've got the water out, the easy water out of it. Then go and turn off all of those faucets. Turn them off. You had them on to drain, now you turn them off. You want to make sure on the outside that fresh water drain little switch that you had, that little lever that you turn on to empty the fresh water, now tighten that back up, because in a minute you're going to put something back in that fresh water tank. All right, so you got that. The next thing has to do really with what kind of a water heater you have in your RV. And this again depends on the manufacturer of your RV, the type of heater you have. But generally, the older model RVs, those tend to have a hot water tank that you also have to empty. And the way you do that is many of the older ones have what's called an anode rod. And it's about that long. It's a little tiny rod that basically its purpose in the hot water tank is to attract all of the sediment and the minerals that would normally build up and wreck your hot water heater. They'll be attracted to that anode rod. Then you take that anode rod out at the end of the season. So when you kick that loose, and it can be kind of hard, you need a big wrench to get it out. When you pull that out, the hot water tank on your heater will empty. And then you typically put that anode rod away until the next season, or you get a new anode rod and put that in at the start of the season when you're de-winterizing. Now that's for generally older RVs. For newer RVs like the Webasto and the All-Day system and other systems that use hydronic heat, for example, they tend to not have that anode rod. And so what you want to do is make sure they're, let's take a step back. I know most of the newer ones, like the Webasto and the All-Day, have a device programmed in the water heater itself, that when the temperature gets below, say, 40 degrees, it opens up a valve and it dumps out all of that water on the road. I remember the first time that happened to me, I was coming back from Louisiana or somewhere down south, and I was up in about Kentucky, and all of a sudden I heard this whoosh and water dripping, and I didn't know what it was. In the morning I got up and there was this big icicle hanging underneath my RV. Well, that's where it all dripped out. And it didn't do any damage, you know, but it emptied all of that water out. And that's a good thing, in case it keeps it from freezing. So you can do that manually, and you have to look at the instruction manual for your heater. Usually it is near the water heater, or it is wherever that water heater is located. In my case, it's underneath a rear sofa in the back of our RV. And there's a little valve there you can pop up, and it will do that for you. There may be a switch. I know some of the Webasto heaters have a switch on it that you kind of rotate over, and it will click and it will release it as well. But point being, make sure you check how to get the water out of your hot water heater and drain that out. So now comes, how do you winterize it? Well, that's where the pink stuff comes into play. And the pink stuff is RV antifreeze. Now, we say RV antifreeze. It could also be marine antifreeze. RV, marine antifreeze. You can get it at Walmart. You can get it at any camping store. It comes in gallons. Do not put in automotive antifreeze. That is not good. The stuff that we use in RVs and marines and boats and stuff is food grade safe. So it's got to say RV or marine RV antifreeze. So you want to get, in my case, I get 3 gallons. I actually get 4, and I'll tell you what I do with the extra gallon in a little bit. But I get, I use 3 gallons in the initial phase of this. And I've put together a little funnel that I make, and I go outside, and in the freshwater insert valve, every RV has the place where you can put in fresh water, not the city hookup, but the freshwater hookup. And I put in the antifreeze there. I use a little funnel, and I get it in, and I put about 3 gallons into the freshwater tank. Now, a lot of people say, oh, that's a terrible way to do it. You can't get rid of that taste when you have to de-winterize in the spring. Listen, I've done this now for the last 3 years. I've had no problems getting rid of the taste. And I can go over that with you in another report, but basically it's very simple to get rid of that stuff. You run it through and you drain it, you put in fresh water, put a little cleansing agent in there, what you want to do to sanitize the stuff when you're de-winterizing in the spring, and you don't have a problem with that taste. So trust me on this. You can put that pink stuff in your freshwater tank. And then you use the water pump, turn it on, remember it's on, and then go back and open up all of the faucets in your RV. I do them one at a time. Cold water in the kitchen, hot water in the kitchen. Cold water, hot water in the bathroom, and I push the plunger down so that toilet fills with water. You do that until you see the pink stuff that you would just put in the freshwater tank coming through those faucets. That tells you you've got it through the whole system. And folks, you're basically winterized. You're basically winterized at that point. I don't know if I mentioned, if you have an outside shower, you also want to go out to that outside shower and make sure there's no water in that at the end of every year. You know, when you're empty, just before you put the antifreeze in, when you are putting the faucets open, you want to make sure that outdoor faucet is also, if you have one of those outdoor faucets or outdoor shower heads, if you have one of those, you also want to get the water out of that. And then when you run the antifreeze through the plumbing system, go out and turn that on and make sure some pink stuff comes out of that. And that way you know that you've got the pink stuff through the whole plumbing system. So that is essentially what you have to do for winterizing. It takes about as long to explain it as it does to do it. A question I have gotten from a number of people who've asked is, well, I heard it's really good to push forced air through the system. I've done that. I haven't done it, but I've had an RV dealer do it. And they say that it is a very touchy situation to push forced air through all of your plumbing system. It gets the water out real easy, and it makes sure it all comes out. However, those pipes in the plumbing system on RVs are very delicate, and too much pressure could split those pipes. So it's not recommended by most RV manufacturers. Some dealers do it. You can trust your dealer, I guess, but I've decided to follow the manufacturer's instructions for my RV, which happens to be a Road Trek CS Adventurous XL, and they say put the antifreeze in the fresh water and run that through. So that's what I do. You can do whatever you want to do, and whatever your RV dealer tells you, fine. But the point is we get that antifreeze through the system. Now, at that point, a lot of folks simply quit. They put the RV away, and should always turn off your phone when you're when you're doing a live shot on Google. Not a good idea to have the phone on. So what a lot of people do is put the RV in storage, and that's the end of it. Not us. We use our RV all the time. Now, my home, our studio here, where we're coming to you from, is in Michigan, and I winterized mine last Monday, a week ago, and the next day it got down to 18 degrees overnight, and I just got into it. But I will continue to use our RV all winter long. I use our RV when we're here in Michigan as a second vehicle. We camp all year round. We had a big camp out coming in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in January. We do this every year. This year we're going to have pretty close to 100 people, about 2.5 feet of snow. This DNR in Michigan, they plow out these sites for us up at Tequamanon Falls State Park. We camp. It's just like a summer camp out, except you wear more clothes and you keep that fire burned a little higher, and it's a lot of fun. But my point is that we use our RV all year round, and I know many other people who do. What precautions do you have? How is using your RV and camping in the winter different than in the summer? It's not at all any different, except for the plumbing system. You don't obviously have fresh water that's running through your tanks. No problem. We just bring bottled water. You can't flush the toilet with fresh water. No problem. Remember I said I had that 4th gallon of antifreeze? This is where that comes in. I keep that 4th gallon right in the bathroom on the floor. And whatever you deposit in the toilet, let me do this delicately here. Whatever you deposit in the toilet, you then put an equal amount of antifreeze in the toilet and then flush. It doesn't, it will all freeze. It'll turn into kind of an icy slush down there. There'll be no odor problems in the winter, and you're good to go. I wouldn't try dumping it unless you get a prolonged period of days with the temperatures in the 40s or so. So just leave it there. Don't worry about it until spring. Now, if you're going to use it a whole lot and it's going to fill up that tank, then you're going to have to try and get that water, clear that black tank out. But in our case, we probably do, we probably use it 6 nights in the winter time, and we don't fill that up at all. So there you go. The place we camp up at Tequamanon Falls, they have outhouses. I know you don't like an outhouse, but in the wintertime, there's no odor. They're actually pretty clean in the winter. So, we use those whenever possible, or if we're in another area, there's a couple of state parks that we go to. We'll use their restrooms in the state park as much as we can, but still in the middle of the night, you can use your own. The point is you have to not use it. You've got that antifreeze, so put it in there. Try winter camping. Now, I get questions about how do they handle in snow? Do I need snow tires? Do I need chains? Well, this kind of depends on where you're located. If you live out west, many of the mountainous states have chain requirements for any vehicles using their road because they tend to get a lot of ice and buildup. So if you live out there, find out what your state regulations are. But in our case, 6 years of doing this in winter camping, I have never needed chains, nor have I ever needed snow tires. First of all, these RVs are pretty heavy. I have a diesel-based Sprinter. That's my chassis. It's dual wheels. It goes through the snow magnificently. Now, I have videos here on the YouTube channel of us driving in whiteout conditions throughout the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and you can see how well it handles. I did a video as we were driving. And by the way, I also have other videos here on the YouTube channel about winterizing, including one that shows how an RV dealer uses that compressed air to blow out the excess water in the lines before they put the antifreeze in. So search winterizing here on the RV Lifestyle channel, and you can find plenty of videos on it. You don't need to have chains unless you're in a state that requires it. You don't need to have snow tires, at least on our RV we don't. I would be a little bit hesitant to drive a Class A in the winter, only because it's just so big, and if it goes into a skid, it's so much harder to control. I've never had a skid. I've gone over the fabled 5-mile-long Mackinac Bridge separating the upper and lower peninsulas of Michigan in near whiteout conditions. Never had a problem. Heavy winds, heavy blizzard conditions. In fact, we were, I think, the last vehicle through before they shut the bridge down, and it handled beautifully. So I want to encourage you to use your RV in the wintertime. If you do not, though, if you store your RV, there's one thing you need to be aware of, one dread 4-letter word: mice. You know, as I said, mice, M-I-C-E, plural. That's because there's never such a thing as one mouse. There's always mice. They seem to love RVs. They eat up the wiring inside of it. They'll crawl inside. They'll find the crumbs that you may still have left in your storage cabinets. You want to really take care of getting mice out. There's products at many different RV stores that will keep mice away. I know a lot of other people who just use those dryer sheets, those fabric softener dryer sheets that you put in the dryer when you wash the clothes, and they put a number of those around the RV floor, and that seems to work. But go out and check your RV a lot. You also may want to disconnect the battery, because if you don't have a power source for it, the cold weather is going to make things really rough. So you might want to talk again to your RV dealer or the manufacturer about what they recommend. Don't leave food or perishables inside the RV if you're keeping it in storage. Last topic is cover. Do I need a cover? I don't have a cover on mine. I have, actually, I'll do 2 questions, because the last question will be about solar panels. I have solar panels on ours, so I don't put a cover on it. I use mine, as I said, as a second vehicle, and I don't want to just have to put a cover on and take a cover off all the time. If it's just sitting there in the driveway, you might want to investigate a cover. Best place I know to make covers is a place called Hugger, Hugger covers.com. HuggerCovers.com. I'll tell you how you can find out that information in a minute, where they are. If you're going to sit there for 4 or 5 months, 3-4 months, you might want to think about having a cover or invest in indoor storage. It makes the wear and tear in your vehicle a lot less. The last question about those solar panels. What do you do about snow on the solar panels? Well, the solar panels aren't going to work in the snow, so they're not trickle charging your battery system. If the snow gets about that high on my roof and it stays there for a long time, I'll go up there with a push broom. I'll just get a step ladder and get up on top and push the bulk of that snow. I've not had any problems with panels cracking or breaking, and they're fine with the snow. And because I drive mine all the time, once I push off anything that's really accumulated on there, it does a great job. The wind as you drive blows it and keeps those panels clean. Whew, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. Okay, now, where do you find that Hugger cover? And I think I mentioned RV antifreeze, and there may be some other stuff I mentioned. I have a site that we try and keep up to date on everything that we mention on our YouTube videos, every product that we test, every product that we use, every product that we recommend. We have a special site for it. And it's here's how you get to it. It's RV Lifestyle. I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong address. Well, you can get to it, but I'm going to make the simple one. It's Road Trekking, right here, up here, Road Trekking, ROADTREKING.com/gear, roadtrekking.com/gear. And it will take you to an area where we have every single product that we have mentioned in all of these videos here on the RV Lifestyle channel, or on our road trekking blog, or on our podcast. We try and put links to them all throughout there. They're all Amazon links, most of them. We're an Amazon affiliate. You don't pay any more. We get a tiny little bit if you buy one from Amazon. It's how we afford the bandwidth and the microphones and the computers, but it doesn't cost you anything to use that. And you can see every product that we recommended, as well as all the apps we recommend and all the gear I use when I'm out doing these reports. And the other thing I want to know is, if you just stumbled across this on this Friday, as we're doing this live feed here, would you do me a big favor and please subscribe? You'll see there's a little subscribe button below that you can click on, and there's even a little way, there's a little like a bell shaped. If you click that, That will give you a notification whenever we put a new video up online. We try and have 2 new videos every week here on the RV Lifestyle channel, and also we're going live. There you go. This is the first YouTube live I've done. I'm not as comfortable with YouTube live for one reason. I can't see anybody commenting. There's probably a way I can figure it out. We've been doing Facebook Live, and then I download a version of the Facebook version and put it up here on YouTube. I love the Facebook Live ones because I can actually see and react to your comments or your questions. Here, if anybody is putting stuff on, I can't get them. Somebody sent me a text and they wanted to know about my shirt, my RV Lifestyle Channel shirt. Yes, you can find that on that same link where we have all of our products. It's roadtrekking.com/gear. So please subscribe. Would you do that for me? That would be a big help. And also give us your feedback. I'm going to try and do one of these every week. Jennifer will usually be with me. This is our home studio in Michigan. We're going to be here through Thanksgiving. We take off the weekend after Thanksgiving for Louisville, Kentucky, and we'll be at the RVIA, the Recreation Vehicle Industry Association trade show. That first week after Thanksgiving in Kentucky, we'll be showing you all the new RVs, all the new gadgets and gizmos that'll make RVing fun. And we'll be doing some live stuff there as well. But should I do these videos? This is what I want to ask you. Should I do more of these on YouTube, or should I stick with Facebook and then move it on over to YouTube? I'd love your feedback on that. I hope this has been helpful to you. I want to thank you for tuning in. It's Friday. I hope you all have a great weekend and get that RV in shape for winter. And don't be scared about using it to camp in the wintertime. One of the greatest things about camp in the wintertime, there's no crowds. I'm Mike Wendland. Thanks for watching this live report on our RV Lifestyle channel. Bye-bye.